Hello, everyone. Catchy1383 with Catchy Gaming, and another game I wanted to cover was Arc Raiders. Although I played this a couple weeks ago when I was just home for a day or two, didn't really have much time to make a video at that point because I had household things I needed to do that I wasn't able to do because I was being sent out in the middle of nowhere. But I was able to squeeze in a few hours with my youngest brother who bought this game and played it before I did. I did not technically buy this game. This game was given to me by MSI for buying a video card from Amazon. Make it make sense, but whatever. It was free. I wasn't interested in it at first until my youngest brother played it. I mean, I was sitting on the game for a while, but due to my first motherboard being a POS and having to wait for the second one to come in and install and make sure everything worked properly, it took a while to redeem the game. But I finally was able to get some playtime in. Now, I've seen a lot of videos out there making fun of IGN for their video, or I should say videos. They had one back in April, which, yeah, they completely and totally and utterly embarrassed themselves. And they kind of did it again with their most recent video that came out a couple days ago. Like this particular little gem they have here where he's shooting at a guy who's down and then shoots at a person who jumped in front of him who started shooting at. Yeah, it was dumb. The older video, yeah, it definitely shows the incompetence of IGN's reviewers. And to be honest, you can't make fun of IGN enough, particularly when it comes to their incompetence when it comes to playing games. Now that I got the low-hanging fruit out of the way, let's see if I can give a shot at reviewing, or I should say probably just giving my best first impressions of this game. Only logging in about 14 hours at this point in time, and a backlog a mile long, with more games coming out soon. First world gaming problems, do you know what I mean? At this point, I'm fairly certain most people know that Arc Raiders is a extraction shooter with some stealth elements and some combat elements in it, where you play a sort of customized raider, and I'm not really sure the point of the customization, particularly because you can't see your character's face, so I find it kind of pointless. Outside of the outfits that you can equip, I'm failing to see the point of customization when it comes to a lot of games. This is one of them. You play a character called a raider who scours the surface of the planet looking for bits and scraps of things that can be used to maintain the city of Speranza, all while trying not to get caught by various ARC units that take different forms. All of them remote controlled drones of some kind or another with various functions and letalities. Also, while maybe avoiding groups of other raiders that will potentially just kill you for your goods, or maybe just kill you because they want to think this game is Call of Duty, which I'm sure there's more than a handful of people are like, ooh, there's PvP, let's go. And they don't care about the whole entire raiding part of the game. I mean, I guess that's kind of fine, but kind of ruins the game just a little bit. You know, personally, my whole entire competitive desire has died out of me about 20 years ago, and I would just prefer to fight the ARC units, which are more than deadly enough without having human players to be a bit of a challenge. Although, yes, you can come across groups of people, like here, where we just ran into literally 3 people. It was a group of 2, plus one guy doing solo, and we were all looking for the same quest, so we just started working together to get this quest done. But in the exact same match, just a little bit later, we ended up coming across a trio of people and getting into a gunfight, where we absolutely trounced them and killed them horribly and painfully. Actually, I almost died here because I was too busy trying to revive my brother who got ambushed. It's more common in the group matches than when you solo to come across more aggressive players who just want to kill you for the sake of killing you. Now, this might not be a bit of a problem, but the arc units that wander all around the place are actually exceptionally dangerous too. And there's plenty of cases where it takes multiple people to take down one very large and very dangerous unit. So the whole entire PvP thing doesn't quite make sense to me, at least in terms of the setting of the game. But I enjoy playing games with my brother, even ones I'm not really all that happy with because it involves PvP. But this one, it's fine. I enjoyed myself while playing it with Charles. So I'm willing to tolerate the PvP aspects of this game if I'm playing with other people. Solo, it's a different story altogether. Now, I will admit it adds a bit of a edge of tension to the game, especially when you're trying to get out and you're waiting for the elevator, the train car, or the ventilation shaft to open up so you can get out and back into Speranza. When it comes to the gunplay, it's pretty solid for the most part. Where you fight the arc units, particularly the drones, you can shoot off very specific turbines on the drones that keep it afloat, causing it to crash if you shoot specific ones. But my only real gripe about the combat is being the huge, would say, difficulty curve when it comes to fighting some of the more powerful units, like the Leaper or the Rocketeer, not even remotely being able to take those on at this point in time without very specific sets of gear that I don't have access to, but they're all over the place. But then again, that's where the stealth elements come in. That you sneak your way around it so that you don't have to take them on. But I have had a couple occasions where the meshes and the textures don't quite match, and even though my barrel's sticking up over an edge and I'm shooting at a player or an arc unit, I'm hitting an invisible wall right in front of me, regardless of the fact that the barrel is sticking way over the edge of the whatever I'm shooting over. A pile of rocks, a wall, whatever. It doesn't happen often, but it happened enough for me to notice. Now, in terms of the stealth elements, yes, it's also there to keep the other players unaware of your whereabouts, having various ways of attracting their attention, gunfire, being shot at by drones, security cameras that'll make noise, prying open containers, stuff like that. What does have a tendency to happen, though, is the noise also attracts the arc units. And I kind of have to question the whole entire thing with the people who like to be a little bit more aggressive for the sake of, because they want to do PvP in a game that PvP isn't really the main object of the game, but they do it anyways because gunfire and a lot of noise can attract the arc units. With your shields and your health feeling more like a paper shield than anything, yes, it can help you take a few more hits here or there depending on what you're being shot with. But overall, it feels like the shields aren't quite as helpful as they should be. I mean, yes, there are better shields later down the road that do a much better job in terms of keeping you alive. But when it comes to the PvP aspect, your bullets just absolutely shred the other players. The gunplay feels like it was built more around the arc units than it was fighting other players, making it feel a little bit unbalanced when it comes to the PvP aspect of the game. Now, in terms of visuals and audio, yes, it's actually quite superb in terms of audio. It has to be due to the nature of how they have the game work, where you try to avoid making noise to keep attention from being drawn by the arc units or even other players, creating some more tense moments when you're prying something open and you hear a solid creaky noise, hoping that somebody isn't going to absolutely come up and shoot you in the back, or come looking for you because they knew that you were nearby. Visually, it's very detailed. There's a lot going on in this game, and a lot of that has to do, again, with the mechanics of looking around, finding things to scrap in order to survive down in Speranza and make new gear. Now, in terms of inventory control, I feel like I just don't quite have enough space, even when I keep buying more space for things. Some of it I have learned that I could just break down in order to get the base components that I need because that's all they're good for, and I can sell off the excess base components that I have for some extra cash in order to increase my space. But there's a certain limit to that. Even my youngest brother, who's been playing a lot longer than I have, keeps running out of space, forcing you to pick and choose what you prioritize in terms of what you have in your inventory. With me not being sure what I will need or don't need in the future, I have a bunch of junk that I hold on to. Particularly because my brother's like, yeah, you'll need that. You'll need this. You'll need that, like a toaster. Eventually, yeah, I actually did use a toaster. And I didn't have to go looking for it fully well knowing that I needed it in the future, so I picked it up while I was just playing with Charles. I mean, that was just fortunate on my part that he played much longer than I had by the time I started playing with him. But the constant inventory management of trying to figure out what I need and don't need is a bit tedious at times. Last thing I want to talk about is the leveling system. You get experience for just about doing anything. Even if you explore and open something up that someone else has already rummaged through, you get experience points for it. That includes attacking other players, but just rummaging through one little itty bitty like cupboard that someone's been through will give you more experience points than attacking a person, so it doesn't really make sense to attack people for experience. I think you kind of get that. I just don't care for the PvP aspect of it, but whatever, it is what it is. But it does lead to you increasing abilities and stuff like that, making it easier to get by in the game by adding new perks or other aspects like being able to be slightly quieter when you're opening up containers and stuff like that. So there are definitely goals other than just grab trash and hope it's something you can use or hope you actually get something you can use. Personally, I think you know where I stand. Yeah, I'll play with other people, but when it comes to just myself, not so much. This is one of those games, at least on a personal level, that it's fun with others, not so much by myself. And your mileage is going to vary depending on the person. Anyways, I've rambled on for enough. If you made it this far, thanks for watching. Have a good one.